35 years since the 1990 pro-democracy Saba Saba rallies. Kenyan rally every year on July 7th to mark the date in 1990 when opponents of then-President Daniel Arap Moi launched a bid to transform the country into a multi-party democracy. Security was tight across the capital, with major roads blocked and vehicle access restricted. Most businesses, including schools and shopping centers, remained shut in anticipation of unrest. People in Kenya's capital, Nairobi, say they have never witnessed the central business district as deserted, as police have blocked main roads and businesses stayed shut. Let's take a listen.
I've never seen the CPD being deserted like this. This is one of the things which shows now people are being tired of this government. You see businesses are closed everywhere, people are in the house, the economy is being affected. Now you see the government raises its revenue from the businesses. You see now the government is losing. The constitution says the power belongs to people. So we are the people who speak or who want the president to go out, because what he has promised to the country is not delivering. So this slogan of Ruto must go, we will not relent and we will keep it going each and every day. So it is possible because power belongs to us.
The demonstrations come amid growing public anger over police brutality, government corruption, and the high cost of living. In outlying areas like Kitengela, police also used tear gas to disperse crowds who had lit bonfires and blocked roads. Now we're joined by Mahmoud Muhammad Nuruddin. He's an African research journalist. Thank you, Mahmoud, for joining us today. Good to see you. What does the heavy police presence and use of force during the Saba Saba anniversary protests suggest about the current state of democracy and civil liberties in Kenya?
So many people have described the situation in Kenya as very bad, which shouldn't have happened. And therefore must be taken a second look at, because if the people are protesting, they have the right to protest, especially when the government knows that this event happens annually. And so there was no need for this force to be applied for the citizens of Kenya, because this is their right to also protest on what is happening in the country. And so it paints a bad picture of governance in that part of the country or in that part of Africa, where governments would want to use security forces to prevent people from doing their civic duty, that is to protest against what they think doesn't really work well for them. And so it's been a topic of discussion across the African continent, where many people, human rights activists, are actually speaking against it. If you remember yesterday, for instance, there was an armed gang that attacked the headquarters of the Kenyan Human Rights Commission, where leaders actually called for an end to state violence. And then the commission was hosting a press conference to end arbitrary arrest and enforce disappearance and disappearance and extrajudicial killings of citizens of Kenya. So while the press conference was ongoing, about 20 armed men attacked those there. We understand some items were also stolen. So these are some of the things that, many people think that things are not really working well in Kenya, and therefore the government must be able to do something to ensure that people can be able to express and actually exercise their right to protest in that part of the African continent.
And Mahmoud, in what ways can Kenyan government balance maintaining public order with respecting citizens' rights to peaceful assembly and protest?
Well, so if you look at the situation in Kenya, basically the citizens are demanding about basically about three things: good governance, accountability, and justice for victims of police brutality. And so, when citizens are demanding these basic things, they would want the government to act. And therefore, if the government begins to act on these things, especially the justice for victims of police brutality, then you are likely to see the people, exercising restraint or even applauding the government for their work. But the Kenyans are seeing it more like everyday talk. Nobody is doing anything about it. And so they would want to continue to protest to ensure that the government or the president would act and ensure their demands are met. So if the government is able to address the issues there, sometimes you would need to begin to act, not just to talk about what the people want, but to act and show a commitment that you are ready to ensure that life will be better for them. And I think that if the government or the president of Kenya begins to address this issue by taking action, I'm sure the citizens would also understand that the government is on the right track and it needs time to be able to implement some of the policies that would help to address the challenges they face in Kenya.
Thank you, Mahmoud Nuruddin, for sharing that insight all the way from Kenya. Now we move on